Over 30 years later, long after the death of his scientific colleague and ex-lover, scientist Dr. Moira MacTaggart, and after what seems like several lifetimes of trying and failing at his dream of peaceful human-mutant coexistence, Professor Charles Xavier is encouraged by an enigmatic person from his past to, quote, stop dreaming the wrong dream. Under this person's secret guidance, Xavier discovers a familiar mutant signature in the South Pacific. The living mutant island Krakoa had returned to Earth by unknown means and resettled in the South Pacific. Xavier's enigmatic friend encourages him to visit the island. After visiting Krakoa and realizing that he could not understand its language, Xavier left and returned with the young mutant Douglas Ramsey, aka Cypher, a mutant whose power is to understand all languages and forms of communication. Xavier hoped that Douglas could assist with translation between him and Krakoa. Of course, Douglas could, and together Xavier, Cypher, and Krakoa itself worked to cultivate the living island's ecosystem so that it could produce exotic flowers that would serve several key purposes. The flowers of Krakoa. Next, at the urging of his enigmatic friend, Xavier sought out one of mutant kind's greatest champions, his longtime frenemy and fellow scientist, Magneto. Xavier revealed that his mysterious secret friend was none other than Dr. Moira MacTaggart. Moira explicated that she had returned to life thanks to a secret she had kept from Xavier and Eric for as long as they had known one another. She too was a mutant with the power to hide her X gene, and upon death could resurrect with the knowledge and capability of all her previous lives. Moreover, every time Moira dies, she resets the timeline. But most of all, worst of all, Moira stressed that in all her previous lifelines, mutants always lose. Whether it is being hunted to extinction by human anti-mutant hate groups, or obliterated by sentinels, or completely annihilated by a combination of humans, sentinels, and robotic humans, mutant kind always loses. Always. Xavier then telepathically shared Moira's memories from her other timelines with Magneto. Then he shared Moira's plans for Krakoa in this lifetime. And for the sake of the survival of mutant kind in this, Moira's 10th lifeline, Magneto joined the pair on Krakoa Island. Together, the three genius-level scientists worked to improve and then expand Krakoa's hive-minded consciousness. Months later, to assure the safety of this timeline, the two men forced Moira into hiding in a place so deep inside the living island that even Krakoa itself was unaware of her existence. Weeks later, early one morning, while the world yet slept, Professor X, now donning a portable cerebral helmet, revealed the new Krakoa to the world. Speaking psychically into every mind on the planet, Professor X explained that mutant kind had developed medicines synthesized exclusively from flowers only grown on Krakoa. The flowers of Krakoa. For humans, the medicines from these flowers could extend human life by 5 years, function as an adaptive, universal human antibiotic, and even cure diseases of the mind. However, these medicines were not free. A country's access to these medicines came with contingencies. First, The country must recognize Krakoa as a sovereign nation exclusively for mutants. Secondly, the country must grant each of its own mutant citizens diplomatic immunity. And lastly, the country must allow safe transit and relocation of its mutants to Krakoa. Next, Professor X called for mutants everywhere. Heroes and villains, the good and the bad, to join him, Magneto, Cypher, and certain members of the now disbanded X-Men on the now self-declared sovereign nation state and make their home amongst their own. To relocate and live in a sanctuary amongst mutants exclusively. And to aid mutants across the planet in relocating to Krakoa, Professor X had the former X-Men plant 2 other types of flowers of Krakoas across the Earth: the Savage Land, the blue area of the moon, and even Mars. These flowers of Krakoa could grow into Krakoan habitats, self-sufficient offshoots of Krakoa that served as embassies, or they could grow into teleportation gateways, which provided instant travel to Krakoa or any other Krakoan gateway in their solar system, thanks to Krakoa's now improved hive mind. Both the habitats and the gateways are exclusive to mutants. 4 months ago, in America, in Westchester County, New York, at the now abandoned school for gifted youngsters, famously known as the X-Mansion, the 5'11" African goddess named Ororo Munroe, aka the veteran X-Men and sometimes leader called Storm, Mistress of the Elements, the former queen of Wakanda, and the Orisha known as the Hadari plants a Krakoan flower, and after a small rain shower from her gentle hand, the flower grows.